3000.
So you've got your crew. Everyone does their own style. For people that don't understand graffiti, I guess they should know that painting on walls, painting on other people's property is a part of it. But I guess the essence of it, what it really comes down to, is painting trains. That's where it sort of comes from.
Yeah, that's probably the pinnacle. Painting, getting stuff on a train, and the vibe was that then you've got your piece going all across the city. You know what I mean? Whatever line it is, or stopping at Flinders Street, and then so many people get to see it.
Yep.
Rather than like a piece on the wall on the back of like a line where only a select few get to see.
Mm-hmm.
So
you want to paint a train. Everyone wants to paint a train. That's the pinnacle.
Yep.
So you think, why not? Well, instead of painting a piece on a train, we'll paint the whole train. Is that the thought process?
I guess that's eventually where it ended up.
Is it just keep progressing till you want to level up, you want to chase a bigger thrill, you want to go bigger and better?
You start with a panel, you master a panel, then you might go like a door to door, then like you might start with a window down whole car, then you might try to do a top to bottom, and then once you start doing all that sort of stuff, then it's like if you do a whole car, then it's like, if you're capable of doing a whole car, well, let's just get like 5 other dudes and let's get 6 carriages, 1 whole car each, and let's just try go for a whole train.
Yep.
I don't know if it's ever been done in Melbourne before. As far as I know, I think we're the first to do it in Melbourne.
That's what it said on the train anyway.
Yeah. Didn't it? World's best pizza. It must be true, man. But world's first whole car. So yeah, I think it is. But some dudes in Sydney, man, they did it, and like I got to take my hats off to those dudes, because those trains are like probably almost twice the size of ours.
Because they're like triple decker ones.
Well, double or triple. The Tangara ones. They're like proper big, and I think I saw dudes, maybe they only had like 4 carriages, but that's still like massive effort. That's huge. So props to them.
Sydney seems to be doing a lot of things graffiti wise now, but back then Melbourne had a stronger scene, do you think, than Sydney did?
I want to say like in the 80s and stuff. I reckon it did. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on in Sydney back then, and you probably weren't even aware of it. Like there was no internet, nothing like that. So you kind of like only knew what was going on around you, what I mean? Like whether it was like, Pran or Dandy or that sort of stuff. And then you saw stuff come from New York, obviously, on TV, movies and stuff like that. And if you got books or whatever, if you're lucky enough to see it or go there, and see it firsthand.
So when you're doing these trains and that sort of thing, obviously they're not going to last, so you've got to try and document them.
Yeah.
Which I guess is it's a hard scenario for someone who's doing something illegal, because you've got to you're keeping evidence on yourself.
For sure, yeah.
Which is a real contradictory thing.
For sure, yeah.
So you do that, you take flicks, I guess, the pre-internet. I guess now with the internet, you could put up on the internet, it's not your thing. But you have to keep old school folders with photos and rolls of camera and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was funny back then, because it was still taking photos on film, you know what I mean? And so you do your piece, do your best to try to get a photo. And then you weren't sure if it was going to come out or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I rarely took photos, man. I was fucking so lazy. I was just grateful that Discreet, he's like a filmmaker and stuff like that. So he was really big on documenting things and stuff. And so he would always take photos. Like I still probably don't have a proper photo of that whole train we did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so yeah, that's how bad I was. So I didn't have too much of a problem keeping photos.
You're living in the moment a little bit, and you're not thinking about all that sort of stuff. And I guess you're just holding evidence against yourself.
Yeah.
So inevitably, that it comes undone.
Well, I guess if you're taking photos, you'd probably keep them at other people's houses or something like that. Maybe a girlfriend's house or somewhere. Like you'd have your sort of, your safety checks in place that sort of limited that sort of risk, you know what I mean? Like keeping that stuff, sketchbooks or whatever at your house, or
which is hard when you just want to be an artist, because how do you draw the line between I'm just drawing here? And I think every graffiti artist I've ever known, if there's a piece of paper or a pen near them, they're chucking a tag, they're doing a sketch. Like that's near impossible.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it depends how serious you get into it, you know what I mean? After that, once you start getting all right, I've done a fair bit of damage, which I could go down for pretty badly here if they were to find something, you start to get a bit more careful about that sort of stuff.
And more careful with the people you hang out with
sure,
and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so you really want to try to keep it to your crew and hope you've done a good sort of, screening process of who you let in your crew, you know.
Yep.
That's kind of how we got unstuck, I guess, with getting busted with that whole train. You know, we were a man short. Actually, we were 2 men short, but one of the dudes, Urge, you know, he's staunch as fuck. He's like he's one of the most prolific riders out there. So yeah, he's rock solid, man. But yeah, the other dude we let in, yeah, I think the story goes, as far as I know, like we got away with the train.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. It was mental. Like, it was like probably 10 a.m. when we finished painting. Trains are running on the other side of the yard, you know.
Man, yeah.
I think the train driver was even tooting his horn because you could probably see vapors coming up over the other side of the train. You know, there's people walking their dogs on the other side of the fucking park, you know, going, oh, you guys are supposed to be in there. We're like, and Trim was like, oh, yeah, it's through the council, man. You know, it's for our friends who died, and it's all good. It's all kosher. Don't worry about it, man, you know. And I just resigned to the fact, man, we're going to get busted doing this, but I've come too far.
Yep.
I'm just going to fucking do it, get my flick, and get busted for it, and that'll be it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I finished my piece, sort of got some flicks, and then I'm like still amazed I'm not busted. I'm like, fuck, I'm out of here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Benny was like, I'm like, dude, you going to finish or what? He's like, oh, man. He was on the same trip, you know. He's like, oh, I'm just probably going to get busted doing this, but I'm going to finish this piece, you know. And he's like way more intricate than any of ours and that. And we all got away with it, you know. And then I think the dude who we called in that ringing, I think he was bragging about it to one of his mates, and I think one of his mates knew someone or had a mate who lost his job over it because he was like the secchi or something like that there.
Bullshit.
And he's like, so he's like, oh, he told his mate, hey, you know, fucking you lost your job. Oh, I know the dudes who fucking painted it. Saying like, you know, next minute the cops raid his joint, you know. And then like they dragged him down and yeah, just ratted us all out, man.
Yeah, that sucks. Like, it's obviously it's a shit thing to happen, but I guess like any kind of criminal, there's a sense of relief after that. You're like, well, at least I'm not going to get busted for it, or you just like, you're obviously pissed off, but you're
I guess then you are. But when you look back on it, man, like it was like, you know, we probably would have done some serious jail time these days in this environment. You know, like there's graphers going to jail these days, like for
criminal damage, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know, and just the extent of it, they probably would have made an example out of us. But
well, it was in the paper and that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, I was in the paper a couple of times in Herald Sun, man. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like the severity, like I think I got no conviction. You know, it was like nothing, man. You know.
And then I guess you get infamy, notoriety out of that. You know, in the scene, people are obviously going, fuck, man, that's pretty epic. Like, even though you got done, they're still commending you for it. You're getting mad respect from people from that. Yeah,
for sure. Yep. There's that element to it, and like you said, like the element of relief. It's sort of like, all right, I've been busted now. I can just keep my tag, you know, and like I can just put that up, like I guess legally now, like without any sort of fear of anything.
So it's funny that, isn't it? Like, it kind of puts you into this category where if I'm doing a legal piece that my mates have organised, I can put my name up. I can take a photo. Yeah. Is a sense of relief with that.
For sure.
Yeah, and I guess that is, and you're probably getting to the stage where you're getting a bit more mature. Would you have gone on to paint more trains? You know what I mean? Was this kind of like your grand final? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was like the grand final. I think we sort of, in that respect, probably shot too high too early, man. You know what I mean? In hindsight, it would have been nice to, like, you know, do 100 more panels or something like that, you know, and then go to that. But then, like you said, everyone's pushing things, so someone else probably would have come along and done that before us. So it was like, maybe there was that sense of urgency where, like, oh, no one's done this, and you could sort of see people going that way, you know, trying to push for that, something like that big, you know.
Yep.
And yeah.
And sorry, man, I'm burping. Give me 0 years. So yeah, you've done that, and then like you've gone to, all right, I can start painting legally again. Did you lose interest in graph for a while after that? Did it leave a bad taste in your mouth, or you just wanted to keep painting, keep doing art, that sort of thing?
I think after you've been sort of that high, it'd be like you know, to use an analogy of surfing, like after you surfed like a 100-foot wave at Nazare or something like that, or, you know, Laird Hamilton surfing that wave at Chopu, then going back to surfing like 2-foot fucking slop at, like, you know, in the bay or something like that, you know, like it's, you know, everything's sort of like a bit lackluster after doing something like that. So legal walls are cool, like painting, catching up with mates and having a good laugh and that sort of stuff, and it's so relaxed, you know, there's no fear of anything, I guess. you know, to some degree, you know, addicted to that bit of adrenaline, you know, if you sort of broke it down, you know, and that, you know, it's exciting, you know, I guess.
But I guess it gives you a chance to actually focus on your art and make it more of a full-time gig.
For sure.
Rather than an illegal passion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
guess not every, I shouldn't say that, but like a lot of, you know, people who are artists, who are graffiti artists, then probably want to legitimize them being an artist, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, like you say, they might get busted and go down that avenue, like, you know, Dabs, Myler or Tom or whatever, you know, and then, because like, I guess graffiti's not even, maybe now it's more legitimized as an art form, I guess, you know, but even then, like, everyone's like, they just see it as like vandalism, you know? And so I guess if you're an artist, you're trying to legitimize art. I can also do this, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I do fucking paint trains and stuff, but I can draw your portrait or whatever it is. So like, I want to be considered like an actual artist.
3,000.